What is going on? Hello, I am Nick. You know me. You may or may not know Jasmine, and you may or may not have heard of Rejuve.ai. If you haven't, you're in for a very special next few minutes. We're going to talk about Rejuve.ai. Jasmine, please tell us who you are and how we got here today.
Yeah, so I'm Jasmine. I'm the CEO of Rejuve.ai and a long-term SingularityNet community member. Some of you might know me as Zolgo or Zolly Dolly on Telegram. And yeah, so I've been leading this project for about a year and a half from the beginning to kind of just building our upcoming longevity app up to now at this time where we have just announced our token generation event or token launch. So yeah, I'm going to tell you more about it.
This is very exciting. This is a project that was kind of the brainchild of Dr. Ben Gortzel. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, this idea for this project was kind of mentioned back in 2018 on an old thing called the XLab Accelerator on SingularityNet, and there were several projects, including NewNet, listed there. And so now we're at the stage of launching them, and it's really exciting, to see the ecosystem just developing right before our eyes.
I'm pretty excited about it. And this is one I've actually been playing around with it. Well, we'll get into all this, but yeah, I've been playing around with the app. I did manage to honestly subtract like 9 years from my assumed age, my biological age. So I'm doing pretty good there. I'm in the 30s in my biological age anyway. Okay, so we will be right back and we will get to all the good stuff. We'll see you in 30 seconds. Okay, Jasmine. So as we talk about Rejuve, and for anybody that wants, is the best source right now just to go to Rejuve.ai if they want more information? Is it just that the easiest way?
Yeah, Rejuve.ai, and also our Telegram and Twitter channels are quite active as well. So we can link those below.
Awesome. So I think where we start is kind of how Rejuve.ai got started, and then let's just take it from there. So give us an idea, where did this, there was a day where there was no Rejuve, and then there was Rejuve. Take us from there.
Yeah, so in the beginning, there was SingularityNet. And so this effort to create beneficial, decentralized artificial general intelligence was born. And kind of as auxiliary components of that were some other projects to kind of seed that mission and vision. To kind of go into different verticals of society pretty much. And one of the important ones is, of course, health and longevity, because, okay, we can create all of this amazing technology, but if we don't live long enough to see it, then, it's not really beneficial directly to us anyway. So Rejuve was started for that reason exactly. And Dr. Ben Gertzel has a very big passion for longevity research. He's kind of been involved in it for years, just like AI and all the other awesome things that he's doing. So that, yeah, I got onto the project about a year and a half ago and started building the longevity app. And yeah, now we're at the stage of ready to launch it.
What is because that's pretty interesting that you would find this project, at least, it takes a certain kind of, all of these projects that I've noticed coming out of SingularityNet are very interesting, but also very distinct and different. What kind of gravitated you? Was it your background? Or what kind of led you to, Rejuve being really interesting to you?
Yeah, so it does kind of tie to my background. I was in health information management, which is pretty much medical coding, not different from computer coding, but it has to do with health data. So that's pretty much what so I was in health information management and kind of doing the same, but in a much more interesting, fulfilling way than, at my previous, job. And also, like you had mentioned, I think when we were talking, being a longtime community member, like I was got involved in SingularityNet in around 2017, 2018 as well. And yeah, that project just was right in line with my background, and I just got right into it.
do you guys expect, and we're going to talk about this in a second, like as far as the tech stack, but do you guys expect, so at least from my understanding, like NewNet as an example, would you guys benefit from a lot of the work that NewNet is doing and things like that? Like there's a lot of cross-pollination from what I understand. Is that kind of a design concern as you guys built out Rejuve?
Yeah, so the goal is basically for them to be providing computing power for all of our different AI systems. So as NewNet kind of matures, it will be able to support those kind of functions of all, not just beyond simple machine learning, but the more complex systems that Rejuve is building as well.
So now I don't know if you can speak to kind of the specifics. And we'll talk about, again, we're going to talk about the actual tech stack in a minute, but when you guys were kind of building all this, how did you guys decide where to put your focus, right? Like, how did you guys decide? Because there's a lot of different choices you can make in building this out. And we're going to talk about the app here in a minute as well. But like, how do you guys hone in on which direction as far as the tech you're going to use? Because like saying we're going to use AI, well, that's still a very wide brush you're painting with. How did you guys kind of narrowly how did you define that as we look at the tech stack?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same foundation of artificial general intelligence. So our tech stack is primarily focused on becoming something that can kind of function as a AGI scientist, pretty much being able to actually think in that manner and even beyond. So it's layered. The first one, for instance, is called Bayes Expert, and that's the one that's currently running in the Longevity app beta right now. It's basically based on a bunch of systematic reviews and meta-analysis. It's a type of scientific paper that has specific statistics involved. It's able to kind of put all those together and create levels of risk assessment. We also had trained that system on the NHANES data from 1999 to 2019. So then on top of that, we have the Transformer Vey, and that's the next one coming. And that's the one that's actually going to improve the biological age calculation, make it even more accurate, and be able to kind of help to fill in the gaps between data that people may be missing. Like, if you don't have lab tests, but you have wearables data, it can kind of be able to guess around about where your lab tests will be. And then, if you actually do take them, then it can kind of see exactly how accurate that assessment was. And, so it's pretty exciting.
So is this, are you kind of thinking, this isn't like a large language model, but it is taking a big corpus of data and drawing connections for something like this, right? You don't have your blood test, for example, but you have all this other peripheral data. And so it can draw associations from a large corpus of pre-existing data where there were blood tests and blood information. And that's kind of how it's drawing these correlations.
Yeah, and also based upon other users that are similar to you. So if someone else had like a similar other profile data, but also had that, then it kind of can learn that, okay, this is what this profile looks like. And so the grand plan of all of this, when they meld them all together, is that it creates a multi-resolutional simulation. That's what we call it, which basically means that it's a big simulation of the human body at various different levels. So being able to basically test therapies, for instance, before we even get to clinical trial, to assess how it would affect not only just a human in general, but you, if you're using the app and putting your own personal data in at a regular basis.
So kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but ideally at some point we would want to completely map the biology of the human, right?
Yes.
And then we could truncate those experiments as far as time is concerned so that you wouldn't have to go 99 years to figure out what 99 years forward of that particular human would look like. So if we can correctly map this biology and kind of physiology data, then we can run just like trillions of experiments, right? Like small, tiny simulations. And then we can play out all these possible outcomes. And then you could almost like choose very specific for each human. Each individual human could have a very specific kind of treatment protocol. Is that kind of where we're going, do you think?
Yes. So basically, the personalized medicine is a big factor in it. And yeah, being able to know how these different things will affect you before you even try it. So it does minimize the risk associated with new therapies and drugs that can be generated by the system, for instance, or even just new protocols that you can try to enhance your health that can kind of already accurately estimate how it would work. So that's kind of the goal there. And then so the third component is the generative cooperative network, which was designed by Dr. Deborah Duong, our CTO. Actually, all of these were, but that's like her favorite one. And this is the layer when outside developers and AI modelers can actually contribute their longevity models into our system to even further improve it.
Is one of the problems you see right now, I mean, okay, I think that all of this siloed data is not good, right? Like you have universities doing their research and that's in a silo, and you have pharma doing their research and that's all obviously siloed because they have a lot of IP associated with that. So this creates a situation where there's a lot of redundant work. Like why do I start thinking like Bitcoin? You have all these nodes doing all this work and it's the same stuff. And so here you're sharing all that data, and I'm guessing in an anonymized way where you can pilfer that data, you can do research, you can contribute, or you can pull research resources from that to contribute to your research. So I mean, it would seem like this should logarithmically kind of improve this modeling of human biology.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into one of the core missions, of Rejuve, or one of the core aspects we focus on is being able to take all of that siloed data and put it in one place because it's more beneficial to discovering, key critical things about the aging process and how it actually works. Because as you said, with all the data scattered across and everybody kind of hoarding it and trying to just maximize profits and whatnot, we're not actually coming to the solutions to solve the aging problem, pretty much, or discover why we age and what we can do about it.
It's pretty exciting. So I started. Let's talk about the app a little bit. So I started banging around with the app when it first came out, and it was kind of cool. And I started entering my data and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, this could be, especially I've got it linked up to my watch now, so that's kind of cool. So it's collecting data in a way that I don't even have to kind of mess with it. It's just collecting kind of semi-real-time data or reconciling data throughout the day. So that's very interesting to me. So tell us a little bit about the longevity app and kind of where that's headed.
Yeah, so the longevity app is our kind of primary source of data collection, and basically allows you to answer health surveys and inventories, and also, as you mentioned, connect to your wearable devices. And so it acts first off as a electronic personal health record. It's a good place to track all of your health data in one place instead of having a medical record on a PDF or paper or something of that nature. You have it all there. And then so the first step is you get some AI processing from us, and it's based across the 9 hallmarks of aging plus a proposed 10th one. And so basically you get insights across those metrics, and you also get another set of insights that are more general based on such as weight and exercise, sleep, things of that nature. And then you have another layer, and that's where the crypto comes in, where you can choose to contribute this data to our data commons and receive token rewards in exchange for contributing that data. And with those tokens, you can purchase discount vouchers on science-backed supplements, wearables, epigenetic tests, whole genome sequencing, and a whole bunch of other things that we will add to the store as well.
So, okay, here's a question. Let's say that some of my data is used in some breakthrough, some scientific breakthrough or pharmacological breakthrough or whatever biological breakthrough that you guys then submit. Does that help me as a contributor?
Yes. So you get your immediate ones for putting the data into the system, which is your token rewards. But then also we have another component. I mean, it is like a kind of a future one, but that's kind of the end goal, is to have this product ownership as you contribute. So if your data was used and let's say it becomes this actual longevity drug, then you should still be able to own a piece of that and be able to access that therapy that's designed earlier and cheaper than others because being a Rejuve network member pretty much. So the Rejuve network is a kind of membership, but it's very easy to join and it's kind of available to everyone in the world. And that's kind of the essence of what we're doing, is to create this global longevity research network, a decentralized longevity research network that everyone can participate no matter where you're from or what kind of how much money you make or anything like that.
I feel like kind of being a part of Rejuve is like I'm a biohacking kind of insider, because at the very least, I would imagine that through Rejuve, I'm going to get information that would matriculate out of peer-reviewed papers at a very slow pace. But through Rejuve, because there's like an information component to it, right? You're learning a lot about your body, but I'm guessing that two-way communication also like translates information about, you know, when you're talking about new medicines and things like that, I would be on the front row of people receiving that information, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's according to the real-time research we're doing. So, and we actually have a different division called Rejuve Biotech, and they have a license to study these long-lived fruit flies, and they call them the Methuselah flies, after Methuselah in the Bible lived 980 years. So basically, they've been breeding these flies for many generations, and now they live 5 to 8 times longer than normal. So now they're actually dissecting that DNA to figure out what it is that actually makes them live longer. And then through the genomic data that we onboard via Rejuve network side, we'll be able to use AI transfer learning methods to see what's useful for humans as well. And that kind of becomes the first ideation of how we develop these new therapies, whether it be a supplement or a small molecule to help extend human lifespan.
So can I put my name in the hat for telomere soda when you guys release telomere soda?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So, okay, the app, people right now, if they were to download it, they would, they have to go to the beta, right? So you need to go to Rejuve.ai. You guys have some links there, depending on whether you're Android or iOS. They can click, they can go into the closed beta. They can then set up the app on their phone, which is really cool. I've been messing with it. And they can go, what other products? So for instance, you have the longevity app. You're collecting all of this research. So let's pivot and talk a little bit about what do you see as like the future of AI, and whether that's language models, whether that's large kind of neural networks or like machine learning, like how does AI and medicine work together as we move forward, in humanity?
Well, I think one of the ways we cover it is being able to analyze the large volumes of data at a way faster rate than people can alone, and being able to get that more personalized approach. So I think everybody is kind of moving into this personalized precision medicine. So being able to target specific body systems, drill down into specific cells. I think that's kind of the key of AI in medicine, like just being able to do more targeted therapies without kind of causing widespread damage to the rest of the system. Being able to see ahead of time how can we best treat someone without having to do so much trial and error type of methods that may or may not be helpful.
When nanites. Like, have you thought about that? I mean, I kind of envision a future where these tiny, I didn't envision this, but if you read Kurzweil and listen to a lot of the kind of the giants in the industry, the idea that you would have tiny little machines running around forming the shapes and participating in the activity of various like cells in the body, or, dealing with pathogens, things like that. I guess it's impossible to say, but do you think that's something in our lifetime? I mean, how fast does this curve turn once you introduce AI and eventually AGI into medicine?
Yeah, I guess that is pretty hard to say. I mean, they have some interesting things around already, but part of kind of why we want to do decentralized longevity research is because a lot of times when these things do come out, these new things, they're only kind of available for the super rich, wealthy people in society. Like an average person would never know how to get this until it kind of already has been around for many years and you're already old and sick by that time that even have access. So we're trying to make it so that everyone has access to the kind of medicine and therapies that they would desire, whether it just be to live a little bit longer, or whether you're into full-on immortality cyborg style.
Yes. Yes. Maybe not cyborg style, but I do like the idea of having a little bit more control over the off switch, rather than kind of waiting for it. And the system we have now, this kind of hospice, like that's not so pretty. So I do like the idea of this. Now, there's two divisions inside Rejuve. So there's the kind of the extension into the public through the longevity app. Then there's the biotech division, which will be kind of implementing data that you're kind of gaining from the research. And then, actually kind of filing for intellectual property and things like that, right? So like,
Right.
Are there other parts to this, or is it kind of like that's the two heads of this thing?
So that's the Rejuve component. Of course, as we grow and mature, other entities might be interested in drawing upon our database as well. And that's when the more advanced stages come in, like users being able to choose, okay, do I want to share my data with this company? Do I want to share my data for this research purpose? Things that are outside of Rejuve. And yeah, so that's also something that's along the lines of the pipeline as well.
Oh, interesting. So you could have is Rejuve itself a for-profit company? It's a for-profit, like you guys are functioning as a corporation, right?
It's in corporation, and we will have eventually a premium service level. So that's a form of revenue generation. Right now, in the beginning, the app is free to use, but we'll be putting more advanced features on that can be for a subscription model.
So then you could also, is another revenue stream that you guys are assuming companies coming in to buy into that pool of data, for instance, to do some pilfering or mining of that data?
Yes, we also want to maintain that strong sense of data ownership. So, but it is going to be possible for people to be able to choose to share that outside and be able to collect some revenues on that as well.
So that's interesting. So really, everybody that's participating kind of gets to participate around the full spectrum of kind of services you guys offer. So that's kind of fun. I like the idea that maybe I can get, the same kind of treatment as somebody that's worth $1 billion, right?
Exactly.
Like I might not have to be a billionaire. I intend to be, but I don't have to be. And I think that that's important. What kind of rollout are you guys doing? So when you're rolling out the app, are there certain countries you're looking at hitting first, or is this like a worldwide rollout? The app's going to be available in 256 languages. And like, what's kind of your rollout plan?
So as far as country-wise, we want it to go as far and wide as possible. So we are launching everywhere that it's legally possible. As far as languages, it'll take a bit of a process. We actually will be through the Singularity Net Ambassador Program offering some opportunities for people to translate the app in exchange for some token bounties. Because it's basically a matter of creating these files and developers installing them. So right now, to begin with, it'll just be in English, but it is a goal for us to translate into as many languages as people feel that we need in order to make it more understandable and usable across the world.
So, okay, let me ask you a question that's not specifically Rejuve. What is your gut feeling about, let's say, the next 10 years? What does that look? Does medicine change? Because you have a medicine and data collection background. I know that data collection and aggregation changes. It already changed with OpenAI's ChatGPT, and so as that's kind of moved humanity forward pretty quickly into the idea that AI might be a framework, kind of surrounding or enveloping everything. How do you think, are there going to be drastic near-term changes to the medical field as a result of AI products, whether it's large language models, deep neural nets, whatever kind of AI scenario it is? Do you think that's going to have pretty fast changes in the medical space, or is there going to be a lot of pushback?
I can foresee there being pushback just because of the profit that's available in medicine right now. It's kind of a lot driven by that, about, selling a bunch of this product, selling, making profits pretty much. But I would really like to see, that dream. Okay, I can, step into this machine and the AI is kind of scanning me and it's pinpointing, okay, you need this, this, and that. And then it's making a plan for me and saying, okay, this is what you need to do for the next 6 to 8 weeks to, get in better shape and, just kind of keep iterating. For instance, like I would like to see something like that occur, and just, that more focus on personalized medicine and actual wellness, rather than just kind of maintaining a balance of I'm okay. Well, actually seeing people getting better and actually building, and imagine actually getting healthier as you get older, something like that.
So after my scan, would my 3D printer spit out my vitamins for the day specific to my individual? Like, for instance, do I wake up, do I stretch, drink a glass of water, get a scan, 3D print my vitamins while I'm brushing my teeth, and then have my vitamins, have my food 3D printed, because with the correct protein, carbohydrate, fat, lipid count, so that basically I'm completely immersed in a constantly evolving, self-checking, self-evolution like diet? Is that even something that we can achieve? I mean, we can't be that far away, right?
I think it is. I mean, I'm myself more of a naturalist, so I'd like to see us still keep, the growing things out of the ground and whatnot. But certainly I think that, we could get there.
Printing is the new growing. So, okay. So that's where medicine is now. Have you guys, you may not be able to comment on this. Have you guys talked to like universities and entities in big pharma about kind of collaborating with this project?
I wouldn't say at that level, but we do have some connections, let's say with researchers from Buck Institute, because we have some partners that are already kind of working with them, like True Diagnostic, for example. They have epigenetic tests, and we actually have a partnership with them where we're analyzing a bunch of epigenomic data and metabolomic and proteomic data to be able to come up with better chronological aging algorithms. And then we also are connected with Rejuve.ai, and they have a supplement that is basically targeting AGEs, which it's a technical thing that has to do with glycation and breaking up extracellular matrix crosslinks in your body and everything. So we are kind of able to connect to that world, and we're starting kind of on a more mid-level, and also trying to get that world more connected to the Web3 as well. So that's kind of our focus.
Have you guys reached out or communicated with insurance providers about potentially linking up the data that's collected for insurance providers to kind of figure out a better way to maybe price certain individuals like insurance, like coverage and things like that? Like, for instance, if I was, a biological age of 65, and when I opened Rejuve, it was like a flashing red light that said, you've got about 18 minutes to live. You might as well smoke that last cigarette, versus a biological age of 26. Well, maybe my insurance provider would change. My coverage might not cost as much if I'm the biological age of 26 or the 65-year-old with 16 minutes left to live. Like, is there any future where you guys would communicate with insurance providers, or even offer on-ramps to a more forward-looking kind of insurance setup?
I mean, it's definitely an interest. Like, I've heard this idea a lot internally about kind of linking with insurance and being able to offer better options that way, or even, create something of that nature ourselves to be able to, more pay for certain levels of things. But I can't say that we've actually in contact with anyone in the industry now, but it's definitely many people, and now you brought it to attention again. So I think, we would definitely want the community to keep on sharing those ideas and those inspirations and directions as well. Okay,
so Rejuve.ai /insurance. No, doesn't exist yet, but soon, maybe. Okay, it's very interesting. I think the future, I think this is a product that makes a lot of sense. And I think forget about the tokens for a second, forget about the economics of it from an individual level. I like the app is just really cool to track myself. Like, you go through and you enter all this data, and it kind of starts giving you this information you said along kind of the 9 kind of subsets of information you collect to create like a data analysis. And like, I found that very interesting, just looking like, oh, I guess I don't drink enough water. Oh, I guess, like little things like that. You start to go, man, I probably should sit less, and I probably should walk a little bit more. So the feedback is already valuable. And I I work out all the time and I'm still not in the top 10%, which is frustrating, but I guess I have to do more. So there we go. Do you see any, again, unrelated to kind of finance and economics or anything like that? Do you see, because I know you've been playing around with the app yourself, has it changed or modified your behavior at all?
Yeah, even just being involved with building it, I'm often just like, okay, yeah, I should actually be the representative of what I'm actually promoting to people, right? Like, and yeah, you were mentioning about this, the app and, beyond the token, like I'd really like to see it evolve to where, okay, I'm actually looking at my biological simulation and it's giving me those, deeper level insights and showing like a holographic version or something of that nature. That would be really cool to see. But yeah, it definitely has changed. Like from the beginning when I first started working on the app till now, I started paying more attention to my health and being more conscious. The one thing I need to still work on though is sleep. So but yeah, other than that.
To me, it's become like a health video game, which
Nice.
if you're going to be addicted to a video game, might as well be a health video game.
Yes.
Okay. So we understand what Rejuve.ai is. I'm very excited about it. We understand the app. We understand the tech stack to a degree. The future looks quite bright. And obviously this is very progressive and it's moving very fast. I mean, much faster now that the whole world is onboarding to the idea that search should at a minimum be as good as GPT-3, 3.5, and at a maximum, who knows? And so that's kind of exciting, and decentralized large language models and things like this and all. So I guess let's reduce it now. As a Singularity Net supporter, you have a lot of people out there, especially people who watch this, and they've been, as you have, as I have, we've been in the Singularity Net community for quite a while, many years, many of us 5-6 years. And last year we got to see, and then a little bit the year before, we got to see that owning Singularity Net Token, we got loyalty rewards from Singularity DAO, which was awesome, which is AI and quant managed assets. We saw loyalty rewards for NewNet, which is taking the idea of dormant compute resources and repurposing them to create a framework, to do a variety of things, but kind of creating a melange of resources for compute. And this is cool because they all are kind of interworking together. And now we have Rejuve. And I'm guessing you guys will have some kind of loyalty rewards program. Is that just, and you don't have to give me any details, but that is a safe assumption that there will be some AGIX program at some point?
Yes, definitely. So all of our core projects, spinoffs of Singularity Net will have such programs like that. And we will be announcing that kind of after the token launch stuff is over. And the reason we kind of make separation between it is just so people don't get confused, because it's a lot happening. Like it's a very exciting time when the projects are first launching. So we finish that up and then we will announce the AGIX loyalty rewards after. But yeah, they will definitely be there for Rejuve as well, as this was one of the oldest incepted projects of the ecosystem.
So, okay, give me some quick dates. So yesterday you guys came out, it was a great Medium article, and it kind of explained the basic dates. But just to reiterate one more time, I believe March 1st, you start KYC, is that right?
Yep, that's right.
And this is going to be mostly non-US residents because, and again, don't blame anyone other than existing US securities laws, because that is the reason. So for people outside the US jurisdiction and the other labeled countries, which all of this, by the way, go to Rejuve.ai, you can get all this information. So tomorrow, or whatever March 1st is, whenever you're watching this, that starts the KYC for the areas where you're allowed to participate. The sale will occur, a week and a half later on through Singularity DAO. Is that right?
Yeah, so the Launchpad event for Singularity DAO will start on the 13th, and we actually posted the details about the tiers, which involves staking either AGIX or SDAO tokens.
Perfect. So people that are already staking, they're already going to be able to participate. For those like the US clients and customers, they would then participate. So you will do the public sale. At what point will the token be freed to exchanges and DEXs, and then regular Joe Schmoes like me be able to participate?
That's on the 16th. That's called the token generation event. That's when it actually goes live into the world.
So, okay, great. March 16th, you can look for the token, and that's kind of exciting. You can also earn tokens with the app.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the exciting one too. So the beta, well, right now it's still in beta, but the live launch of that is expected for end of Q1. But we will kind of have a little bit of a period in between because we have to install those new smart contracts into the back end of the app. So they'll kind of just be sitting as locked for a little bit when we first launch, and then we will unlock them when they're ready.
This is really cool. So you can participate in a number of ways. But I just think forget about the economics altogether and just play with the app. At the very least, everyone should submit enough information to get their biological age, because then it makes you start thinking, okay, how can I grind that down? If I want youth and kind of virtual immortality, like longevity, apogee, or like escape velocity, I got to know where I'm at, right? And so I think this is a great onboarding experience for people. It doesn't matter what age you are. You should probably be participating in this. Just kind of figure out where your body's at. When you first did this, did you get the biological age you expected, or what? Or did you say like, oh man, like, was it a shock?
I mean, at the time, I kind of knew where I was already. Like, I knew I had kind of gotten unhealthy and stuff like that, so it wasn't too much of a shock. But oh yeah, I wanted to say a word about the actual algorithms too, because right now, part of the reason why we're not quite launched yet is because we're working on a massive upgrade of the Bayes Expert system. So we're adding in a whole bunch of new metrics and biomarkers, and so it should improve even more in the coming weeks. And we also, what was I going to say? Yeah, so we're adding in basically like 430 new AI nodes within that.
So okay, it's good and getting better. I mean, that's all that we can ask. So it's very exciting. For more information, again, go to Rejuve.ai. And obviously we'll be covering it on a regular basis. It will be another one of the Singularity Net family of vertical products to launch. Very excited to see where this goes. I wish you the best success, and I hope when you make some great breakthrough or whatever, just to make sure that that I get the email first. And again, telomere soda. You heard it here first. Telomere soda.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really glad you like the app, though. Thanks.
It's fun and it's very easy and it's actually very clean and very elegant. It does not look like something you guys put together yesterday. It's a very good, it's when you bang around with any of these apps, within 13 seconds of downloading it, whether there was some thought put into it. So it seems like there was a lot of thought put into this. It's very considered and I like it and I continue to use it. And while I was drinking my sugary coffee this morning, I was, with every guilt-laden thump of my thumb, I was checking my biological age. So I got to do more cardio. But I'm very excited about this. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And we're going to be following this into the sale, but into the future as you guys roll out all these new kind of enhancements and these iterative upgrades. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything? If you could just tell any of our listeners one final thing, what must they do?
Yeah, just download the Longevity app when it comes out, and continue to give us feedback on the things you'd like to see in the app, and just continue, because we want it to continuously just be an iterative process, not that we're just saying, hey, this is what you get, but okay, hey, this is what we've created and the work we put in. Now, what do you think? And it's kind of just this ongoing conversation so that it's always serving people the best way that it possibly can.
Well, I think that's awesome. I'm a participant. I'm bought in. Very excited about it. We wish you the best success as you guys move forward, and as we do with all the teams, especially in the field of AI. And we do, the goal, I think, is a kind and benevolent AGI. And the only reason or way we're going to get to a kind of benevolent, generally intelligent framework is if all of the components, like Rejuve, are also kind and benevolent and for the greater good. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We will see you again soon. Stay in school, don't do drugs, and use the Longevity app and find out what your biological age is. Jasmine, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon. Bye.